Bye, guys.
See you out there.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Sorry, Dennis. I thought it was his.
Oh.
Mom.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. George, you have been evicted. Please leave for the home. George, you have been evicted. Please leave for the home.
For George, there was an election and he got the most votes. Bad news means he's going to get evicted, or he's been evicted. It's question time for George after the break. Welcome back to Big Brother and welcome to George. Now, before we start, I have to say that you have been one of our best housemates, if not the best ever housemate that we've ever had in Celebrity Big Brother. And let's just get that clear to start off with.
Thanks.
So thank you for that.
Very much.
But that's the nice bit over, I'm afraid, because, okay, here we go. Right, you're a politician.
Yep.
You've lost an election, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, I don't normally lose elections, and this was a big one. But I did win one before, and I was unanimously chosen by the housemates twice to represent them in public.
For your intelligence?
And my
and your
articulateness and my leadership. So these are
listen,
positives I'm clinging on to.
They are. Cling on to them. Now, George, now listen, why do you think you were evicted?
I don't know. That depends on who's watching the show. Maybe people wanted me back out and on the road, which is what I'm normally doing, traveling the country speaking to 500 people. I figured it was a good idea to try and speak to 5 million people every night.
Yes. But let's just remember why you're out to start off with, because it all kind of started about the rule breaking.
Oh, yeah.
Now, basically, because you broke the rules again, Big Brother decided to punish you, and that led to you not being able to nominate. How did you feel about that?
Very bad, because I thought it was a bit of a setup. I mean, people were breaking the rules all over the place, and especially that night and that day about the events of the night before, when Preston and I had been taken into the studio and everyone saw what we said, which was obviously a shock to people.
But that was for the same reason, because hang on, I can put that back on for you, Josh.
Yeah.
That was obviously again because of the nominations thing. Now the reason why Big Brother holds that rule particularly as an important one is because it can sway other people's nominations, and it was seen as trying to sway Ruler's nomination. It wasn't the fact that you said it, it was the fact that...
I had no problem about Big Brother punishing me, but of course Big Brother washed his hands of the crime and asked the housemates to decide.
Well, it was democratic.
Well, yeah, and they decided to take my rights away, and later admitted that it was because they thought that I might vote against them. Well, that
but
was
would you have not done that to them?
I wouldn't, because I wouldn't. That's a bit like George Bush in Florida taking people's votes away because he knew they were going to vote against him. I don't agree with that.
I see your point, but it wouldn't have made any difference actually, even if you had been allowed to vote, because you were given 4 nominations, and even if you'd voted, you would have still been nominated, as would the others. But anyway, let's have a quick look at the nominations.
I think he's shifty. He's pretty crafty. And what more do you want on top of that?
I've lost a lot of respect for him, and I'm going to nominate him for that reason.
I must have either completely offended him, where he would do anything or say anything to get me out of the house, yet he won't say anything about it. Or he wants to take me on a romantic rendezvous and have his way with me. I can't tell.
I think it's about time that he went back and he represented the people who elected him as an MP.
What did you make of that? Any surprises?
Yeah.
Who are you surprised by?
There's a lot of bitterness builds up in a house like that.
It's like a pressure cooker.
It's like a pressure cooker, and I'm sure there's lots of people said similar things about
But who
more
are you
or less
upset about
everybody.
looking at that?
Maggot probably, because he was a more centrist figure. Not quite with one clique and not quite with another.
Well, he's quite clever in a way, because Maggot kind of floats from group to group and he never really offends anyone. So he's...
Yeah.
He doesn't stick his neck out.
But if you stay in the middle of the road long enough, you usually get knocked down by the traffic going both ways.
Now listen, I want to talk about the impact that you've made on kind of going in to the Big Brother house. What do you think will be your defining moment in there?
Oh, Richard and Judy, definitely. The house was actually almost starving, definitely malnourished. And I won them £140 worth of food. And
see, within the house, that probably was your defining
that
moment.
was my,
for the housemates.
That was my finest hour, yeah.
But for us, strangely, it wasn't. Take a look at this.
Now, would you like me to be the cat?
Yes, please. Pussy, 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 pussy. Good cat. Look. Shh. Yes, good pussy cat. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Now lick your lips. Still got cream all over your whiskers. Here you good pussycat. Yes. Good pussycat. Good pussycat. That's better. Oh, what a good kitty. Oh, yes.
Good purr. My purr was quite good.
Your purr was superb, but I got the feeling you'd done it before. I was like, he's done this before. Now listen, to be fair, right, let's be fair, that was a task.
Yes.
And Big Brother had asked you to do this.
I tried to do all the...
so seriously.
Well, I tried that, actually. Not least because I was so bored, I was delighted to get a task. But I decided if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. So I threw myself into all the tasks.
You did. You did. Can I just say something? Hang on, there's a bit of cream. Okay, right, now, you caused a complete furore by being in that house. Could we just have a look at some of the headlines that have been... these are just a few of the headlines as well that have been in the papers. Did you think that it would cause such a furore? I mean, they just go on and on, don't they? George, I see you biting your lip nervously there.
Oh, dear.
So, did you expect that much attention from coming in?
I didn't,
the house?
but I knew that my political opponents would. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to put this back and don't apologise. It's fine.
I knew my political opponents would attack me for it because
they have.
Yeah, but we'll have to see whether there's any balance out there in the country. I'll tell you that because I'll be back on the road again next week, and we'll see
you will.
what the,
I bet you will as well.
We'll see
and you know what? I've got some
reaction
very
is.
sad news.
Oh no!
You didn't make it into Cat World. All those broadsheets, not one picture in Cat World or anything.
Wow.
It's very distressing. But there is a mate of yours from the outside who's missed you a lot and can't wait to see you. And here's his message.
Tony Blair.
A lot's happened while you've been incarcerated, Mr. Galloway. There are several things we'd like to ask you about. The Big Brother people say we mustn't mention what they are until you've been debriefed, but whenever you're ready, so are we, with or without your leotard. In the meantime, do you really think it was a good idea to go into the Big Brother house?
Well, I do, because...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I do, because I think we're a different kind of political force. We want to talk directly to people. We want to show them that there's more important people to talk to than parliamentarians, that the public out there behind their curtains in their living rooms have to be reached, and they have to be reached in the best way that we can, and this was worth a try, I think. At the very least, I look at it this way: the beneficiaries of the charity I nominated will get something to eat.
Yes.
A couple of people will get a job out of my own earnings.
Yeah.
And if the third goal, which was to reach millions of people and hopefully to impress them somehow...
But do you think you've reached them in a good way?
Well, if I've half impressed half the people, then that would be a very big gain. Because
but what if you haven't impressed any of them?
Well,